The magical passes that aid the attainment of inner silence. 36. Drawing 2 half circles with each foot. The total weight of the body is on the right leg. The left foot is placed half a step in front of it and slides on the floor, drawing a half circle to the left. The ball of the foot comes to rest, almost touching the right heel. From there, it draws another half circle to the back. These circles are drawn with the ball of the left foot. The heel is kept off the ground in order to make the movement smooth and uniform. The movement is reversed and 2 more half circles are drawn in this fashion, starting from the back and going to the front. The same movements are executed with the right foot after the whole weight of the body is transferred to the left leg. The knee of the leg that supports the weight is bent for strength and stability. 37. Drawing a half moon with each foot. The weight of the body is on the right leg. The left foot goes half a step in front of the right one, drawing a wide semicircle on the ground around the body, from the front to the left to the back of the body. This semicircle is drawn with the ball of the foot. Another semicircle is drawn from the back to the front in the same fashion. The same movements are executed with the right leg after transferring the weight to the left leg. 38. The scarecrow in the wind with the arms down. The arms are kept extended laterally at the level of the shoulders, with the elbows bent and the forearms dangling downward at a strict 90-degree angle. The forearms swing freely from side to side, as if moved by the wind alone. The forearms and the wrists are kept straight and vertical. The knees are locked. 39. The scarecrow in the wind with the arms up. Just as in the preceding magical pass, the arms are extended laterally at the level of the shoulders, except the forearms are turned upward, bent at a 90-degree angle. The forearms and wrists are kept straight and vertical. Then they swing freely downward to the front and upward again. The knees are locked. 40. Pushing energy backward with the full arm. The elbows are acutely bent and the forearms held tight against the sides of the body as high as possible, with the hands held in fists. As an exhalation is made, the forearms are fully extended downward and backward as high as possible. The knees are locked and the trunk bends slightly forward. As an inhalation is made, the arms are then brought forward to the original position by bending the elbows. Then the breathing is reversed as this movement is repeated. Instead of exhaling as the arms are pulled backwards, an inhalation is taken. An exhalation follows as the elbows are bent and the forearms are brought upward against the axilla. 41. Pivoting the forearm. The arms are held in front of the body, with the elbows bent and the forearms vertical. Each hand is bent at the wrist, resembling the head of a bird, which is at eye level, with the fingers pointing toward the face. Keeping the elbows vertical and straight, the wrists are flipped back and forth, pivoting on the forearms, making the fingers of the hands move from pointing at the face to pointing forward. The knees are kept bent for stability and strength. 42. Moving energy in a ripple. The knees are kept straight and the trunk stoops over. Both arms are kept dangling at the sides. The left arm moves forward with 3 ripples of the hand, as if the hand were following the contour of a surface with 3 half circles on it. Next, the hand cuts across the front of the body in a straight line from left to right, then from right to left, and moves backward at the side of the body with 3 more ripples, drawing in this fashion the thick shape of an inverted capital letter L, at least 6 inches thick. The same movements are repeated with the right arm. 43. The T energy of the hands. The 2 forearms are held at right angles right in front of the solar plexus, making the shape of a letter T. The left hand is the horizontal bar of the letter T, with the palm turned upward. The right hand is the vertical bar of the letter T, with the palm turned downward. Next, the hands turn back and forth at the same time with considerable force. The palm of the left hand is turned to face downward, and the palm of the right hand is turned to face upward, both hands maintaining the same letter T shape. These same movements are executed again, placing the right hand as the horizontal bar of the letter T and the left hand as the vertical one. 44. Pressing energy with the thumbs. The forearms, bent at the elbows, are held right in front of the body in a perfectly horizontal position, maintaining the width of the body. The fingers are curled in a loose fist, and the thumbs are held straight, cradled on the curled index fingers. An intermittent pressure is exerted between the thumb and the index finger, and the curled fingers against the palm of the hand. They contract and relax, spreading the impulse to the arms. The knees are kept bent for stability. 45. Drawing an acute angle with the arms between the legs. The knees are locked, with the hamstrings as tight as possible. The trunk is bent forward, with the head almost at the level of the knees. The arms dangle in front, and, moving repeatedly forward and backward, they draw an acute angle with its vertex between the legs. 46. Drawing an acute angle with the arms in front of the face. The knees are locked, with the hamstrings as tight as possible. The trunk is bent forward, with the head almost at the level of the knees. The arms dangle in front of the body, and, moving repeatedly from the back to the front, they draw an acute angle with its vertex in front of the face. 47. Drawing a circle of energy between the legs and in front of the body. The knees are kept locked, with the hamstrings as tight as possible. The trunk is bent forward, with the head almost at the level of the knees. The arms dangle in front of the body. The 2 arms cross at the wrists, the left forearm on top of the right one. The crossed arms swing back between the legs. From there, each one makes an outward circle in front of the face. At the end of the circle, the arms point forward, the left wrist on top of the right one. From there, they draw 2 inward circles that end between the legs, with the wrists crossed once more in the initial position. Then the right wrist is made to rest on top of the left one, and the same movements are repeated. 48. 3 fingers on the floor. The arms are brought slowly over the head as a deep inhalation is taken. A slow exhalation begins while the arms are brought all the way down to the floor, keeping the knees locked and the hamstrings as tight as possible. The index and middle fingers of each hand touch the floor, a foot in front of the body. And then the thumb is also brought to rest on the floor. A deep inhalation is taken while that position is held. The body straightens and the arms are raised above the head. The air is exhaled as the arms come down to the level of the waist. 49. The knuckles on the toes. The arms are raised above the head as a deep inhalation is taken. As the air is exhaled, the arms are brought all the way down to the floor, keeping the knees locked and the hamstrings as tight as possible. The knuckles are brought to rest on top of the toes as the exhalation ends. A deep inhalation is taken while that position is held. The body straightens and the arms are raised above the head. The exhalation begins when the arms are brought down to the level of the waist. 50. Drawing energy from the floor with the breath. A deep inhalation is taken as the arms are raised above the head. The knees are kept bent. The exhalation begins as the trunk turns to the left and bends down as far as possible. The hands, with the palms down, come to rest around the left foot, with the right hand in front of the foot and the left hand behind it. They move back and forth 5 times as the exhalation ends. A deep inhalation is taken then, and the body straightens as the arms move over the head. The trunk turns to the right, and the exhalation begins as the trunk bends down as far as possible. The exhalation ends after the hands move back and forth 5 times by the right foot. Another deep breath is taken, and the body straightens up as the arms move above the head and the trunk pivots to face the front. Then the arms come down as the air is exhaled. The 4th series. The separation of the left body and the right body. The heat series. Don Juan taught his disciples that for the shamans who lived in Mexico in ancient times, the concept that a human being is composed of 2 complete functioning bodies, one on the left and one on the right, was fundamental to their endeavors as sorcerers. Such a classificatory scheme had nothing to do with intellectual speculations on the part of those sorcerers, or with logical conclusions about possibilities of distribution of mass in the body. When Don Juan explained this to me, I countered that modern biologists had the concept of bilateral symmetry, which means a basic body plan in which the left and right sides of the organism can be divided into approximate mirror images of each other along the midline. The classifications of the shamans of ancient Mexico, Don Juan replied, were more profound than the conclusions of modern scientists, because they stemmed from perceiving energy directly as it flows in the universe. When the human body is perceived as energy, it is utterly patent that it is composed not of two parts, but of two different types of energy, two different currents of energy, two opposing and at the same time complementary forces that coexist side by side, mirroring in this fashion the dual structure of everything in the universe at large. The shamans of ancient Mexico accorded each one of these two different kinds of energy the stature of a total body, and spoke exclusively in terms of the left body and the right body. Their emphasis was on the left body, because they considered it to be the most effective in terms of the nature of its energy configuration. For the ultimate goals of shamanism, the shamans of ancient Mexico, who depicted the two bodies as streams of energy, depicted the left stream as being more turbulent and aggressive, moving in undulating ripples and projecting out waves of energy. When illustrating what he was talking about, Don Juan asked me to visualize a scene in which the left body was like half of the sun, and that all the solar flares happened on that half. The waves of energy projected out of the left body were like those solar flares, always perpendicular to the round surface from which they originated. He depicted the stream of energy of the right body as not being turbulent at all on the surface. It moved like water inside a tank which was being slightly tilted back and forth. There were no ripples in it, but a continuous rocking motion. At a deeper level, however, it swirled in rotational circles in the form of spirals. Don Juan asked me to envision a very wide, peaceful-looking tropical river, where the water on the surface seemed barely to move, but which had shattering riptides below the surface. In the world of everyday life, these two currents are amalgamated into a single unit, the human body as we know it. To the eye of the seer, however, the energy of the total body is circular. This meant to the sorcerers of Don Juan's lineage that the right body was the predominant force. What happens in the case of left-handed people? I asked him once. Are they more suitable for the endeavors of sorcerers? Why do you think they should be? He replied, seemingly surprised by my question. Because obviously the left side is predominant, I said. This predominance is of no importance whatsoever for sorcerers, he said. Yes, the left side predominates in the sense that they can hold a hammer with their left hand very effectively. They write with their left hand. They can hold a knife with their left hand and do it very well. If they are leg shakers, they can certainly shake the left knee with great rhythm. In other words, they have rhythm in their left body, but sorcery is not a matter of that kind of predominance. The right body still rules them with a circular motion. But does left-handedness have any advantages or disadvantages for sorcerers? I asked. I was driven by the implication built into me many of the Indo-European languages of the sinister quality of left-handedness. There are no advantages or disadvantages to my knowledge, he said. The division of energy between the two bodies is not measured by dexterity or the lack of it. The predominance of the right body is an energetic predominance, which was encountered by the shamans of those ancient times. They never tried to explain why this predominance happened in the first place, nor did they try to further investigate the philosophical implications of it. For them, it was a fact, but a very special fact. It was a fact that could be changed. Why did they want to change it, Don Juan? I asked. Because the predominant circular motions of the right body's energy is too friggin' boring, he exclaimed. That circular motion certainly takes care of any event of the daily world, but it does it circularly, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you mean, Don Juan, I said. Every situation in life is met in this circular fashion, he replied, making a small circle with his hand. On and on and on and on and on. It's a circular movement that seems to draw the energy inward always, and turns it around and around in a centripetal motion. Under these conditions, there's no expansion. Nothing can be new. There's nothing that cannot be inwardly accounted for. What a drag. In what way can this situation be changed, Don Juan? I asked. It's too late to be really changed, he replied. The damage is already done. The spiral quality is here to remain. But it doesn't have to be ceaseless. Yes, we walk the way we do. We can't change that. But we would also like to run, or to walk backward, or to climb a ladder. Just to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk is very effective, but meaningless. The contribution of the left body would make those centers of vitality more pliable. If they could undulate instead of moving in spirals, if only for an instant, different energy would get into them with staggering results. I understood what he was talking about at a level beyond thought, because there was really no way that I could have understood it linearly. The sensation that human beings have of being utterly bored with themselves, he continued, is due to this predominance of the right body. The only thing left for human beings to do, in a universal sense, is to find ways of ridding themselves of boredom. What they end up doing is finding ways of killing time. The only commodity no one has enough of. But what's worse is the reaction to this unbalanced distribution of energy. The violent reactions of people are due to this unbalanced distribution. It seems that from time to time, helplessness builds furious currents of energy within the human body, which explode in violent behavior. Violence seems to be, for human beings, another way of killing time. But why is it, Don Juan, that the sorcerers of ancient Mexico never wanted to know why this situation happened? I asked, bewildered. I found what I was feeling about this inward motion to be fascinating. They never tried to find out, he said, because the instant they formulated the question, they knew the answer. So they knew why, I asked. No, they didn't know why, but they knew how it happened. But that's another story. He left me hanging there. But throughout the course of my association with him, he explained this seeming contradiction. Awareness is the only avenue that human beings have for evolution, he said to me once. And something extraneous to us, something that has to do with the predatorial condition of the universe, has interrupted our possibility of evolving by taking possession of our awareness. Human beings have fallen prey to a predatorial force, which has imposed on them for its own convenience. The passivity, which is characteristic of the energy of the right body. Don Juan described our evolutionary possibility as a journey that our awareness takes across something the shamans of ancient Mexico called the dark sea of awareness. Something which they considered to be an actual feature of the universe, an incommensurable element that permeates the universe, like clouds of matter or light. Don Juan was convinced that the predominance of the right body in this unbalanced merging of the right and left bodies marks the interruption of our journey of awareness. What seems for us to be the natural dominance of one side over the other was, for the sorcerers of his lineage, an aberration, which they strove to correct. Those shamans believed that in order to establish a harmonious division between the left and right bodies, practitioners needed to enhance their awareness. Any enhancement of human awareness, however, had to be buttressed by the most exigent discipline. Otherwise, this enhancement, painfully accomplished, would turn into an obsession, resulting in anything from psychological aberration to energetic injury. Don Juan Matus called the collection of magical passes, which deal exclusively with the separation between the left body and the right body, the heat group. The most crucial element in the training of the shamans of ancient Mexico. This was a nickname given to this collection of magical passes because it makes the energy of the right body a little more turbulent. Don Juan Matus used to joke about this phenomenon, saying that the movements for the left body put an enormous pressure on the right body, which has been accustomed from birth to ruling without opposition. The moment it is faced with opposition, it gets hot with anger. Don Juan urged all his disciples to practice the heat group assiduously in order to use its aggressiveness to reinforce the weak left body. In tensegrity, this group is called the heat series in order to make it more congruous with the aims of tensegrity, which are extremely pragmatic on the one hand and extremely abstract on the other, such as the practical utilization of energy for well-being coupled with the abstract idea of how that energy is obtained. In all the magical passes of this series, it is recommended to adopt the division of left and right bodies rather than left and right sides of the body. The end result of this observance would be to say that during the execution of these magical passes, the body that doesn't perform the movements is kept immobile. However, all its muscles should be engaged, not in activity, but in awareness. The immobility of the body that is not performing the movements should be extended to include its head. That is to say, the opposite side of the head. Such immobility of half of the face and head is more difficult to attain, but it can be accomplished with practice. The series is divided into 4 groups. The first group, stirring energy on the left body and the right body. The first group comprises 16 magical passes that stir the energy of the left body and the right body, each independently from the other. Each magical pass is performed with either the left arm or the right arm, and in some cases with both at the same time. The arms never go, however, beyond the vertical line that separates the 2 bodies. 1. Gathering energy in a ball from the front of the left and the right bodies and breaking it with the back of the hand. With the palm of the hand slightly curved and facing the right, the left arm circles inward twice in front of the body. All the muscles of the arms are held tense as this circular motion is executed. Then the back of the hand strikes forcefully to the left, as if breaking the top of a ball, gathered with the movement of the arm. The hand strikes a point an arm's length away from the body, above the shoulders, at a 45-degree angle. While this strike is being executed, all the muscles are kept tense, including the muscles of the arms, a tension that permits controlling the strike. The impact is felt on the areas of the pancreas and spleen, and the left kidney and adrenals. The same movements are repeated on the right side, and the impact is felt on the areas of the liver and the right kidney and adrenals. 2. Gathering energy of the left and right bodies in a circle which is perforated with the tips of the fingers. The left forearm is held in front of the body at a 90-degree angle in relation to it. The wrist is kept straight. The palm of the hand faces to the right as the fingers point. The thumb is kept locked. As in the previous magical pass, the forearm circles twice, going from the left up to the level of the shoulder and turning toward the center of the body. The elbow is then quickly pulled all the way back, and the circle drawn by the forearm is perforated by the tips of the fingers in a forward thrust. The elbow is moved all the way back once more in order to gain striking power, and then the hand shoots forward again. The same sequence of movements is performed with the right arm. 3. Hoisting left and right energy upward. Both knees are slightly bent. The left knee is then raised to the level of the pancreas, fully bent while the foot is held with the toes pointing to the ground. At the same time that this movement is performed, the left forearm shoots upward until it reaches a point at a 45-degree angle with the body. The elbow is kept tight against the body. Both the leg and the arm move in total synchronicity, jolting the midsection. The same movements are repeated with the right leg and the right arm. The tendency of energy is to sink, and it is of great importance to spread it upward to the midsection of the body. It is the belief of shamans that the left body is ruled by the area of the pancreas and spleen, and the right body by the area of the liver and gallbladder. Shamans understand this process of hoisting energy as a maneuver to energize those two centers separately. 4. The up and down pressure. The left elbow is raised in front of the body to the level of the shoulder, bent at a 90-degree angle with the forearm. The hand is clenched in a fist, and the wrist is bent toward the right as acutely as possible. Using the elbow as a pivot by keeping it at the same position, the forearm is bent downward until it reaches the area right in front of the solar plexus. The forearm then returns to the upright position. The same movement is performed with the right arm. This magical pass is used to stir up the energy that exists in an arc between a point just above the head and in line with the left shoulder, and a point right above the solar plexus. 5. The inward turn. The first part of this magical pass is exactly like the first part of the preceding one, but instead of bending the forearm downward, it is made to rotate inwardly, making a complete circle, pivoting on the elbow at a 45-degree angle with the body. The top of the circle is at a point just above the ear and in line with the left shoulder. The wrist is also made to rotate as the circle is drawn. The same movement is performed with the right hand. 6. The outward turn. This magical pass is almost identical to the preceding one, except that instead of turning the left forearm to the right to make a circle, it turns to the left. It makes what Don Juan called an outward circle, as opposed to the circle made in the previous magical pass, which he called an inward circle. The same movement is performed with the right hand. In this magical pass, the energy stirred is part of the arc of energy dealt within the two preceding magical passes. The 4th, 5th, and 6th magical passes of this group are performed together. Shamans have found out, by means of their seeing, that human beings have enormous caches of unused energy lying around inside their luminous spheres. They have also found out in this manner that these magical passes stir the energy dispersed from the respective centers of vitality, the one around the liver and the one around the pancreas, which stays suspended for quite a while before it begins to sink down to the bottom of the luminous sphere. 7. A high push with the fists. The arms are held in front of the body at the level of the shoulders. The hands are fisted with the palms turned toward the ground. The elbows are bent. The left hand strikes forward with a short punch, without first retrieving the elbow to gain strength. The left hand is retrieved to its initial position. The right hand follows with another similar punch and is then retrieved to its original position. The strike of the fists come from the contraction of the muscles of the arms, shoulder blades, and abdomen. 8. A low push with the fists. The elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle and kept at the level of the waist. They don't touch the body, but are kept an inch or two away from it. The hands are clenched in fists with the palms facing each other. The left forearm moves to strike in a short punch, driven by the muscles of the stomach, which contract in unison with the muscles of the arm and the shoulder blade. After striking, the forearm is retrieved instantly, as if the punch has generated the force to push the arm back. The right arm moves immediately afterward in the same fashion. Just as in the preceding pass, the elbows don't move back to gain striking strength. The strength is derived solely from the muscular tension of the abdomen, arms, and shoulder blades. 9. A wheel with the fingers contracted at the middle joints. The elbows are kept at the level of the waist, over the areas of the pancreas and spleen, and the liver and gallbladder. The wrists are kept straight. The palms of the hands face each other while the fingers are tightly clenched at the second knuckle. The thumbs are locked. The elbows move forward and away from the body. The left hand circles in a vertical rasping motion, as if the bent knuckles were rasping a surface in front of the body. Then the right hand does the same. The two hands move in an alternate fashion, in such a manner. The muscles of the abdomen are kept as tight as possible in order to give impetus to this movement. 10. Smoothing energy out in front of the body. The flat palm of the left hand, which faces forward, is raised to a level just above the head, in front of the body. The palm slides downward in a slanted line and comes to the level of the pancreas and spleen, as if it were smoothing out a vertical surface. Without stopping there, it continues moving to the back. The body rotates to the left to allow the arm to come fully over the head. The hand, with the palm facing downward, then comes down with great force, as if to slap a rubbery substance in front of the area of the pancreas and spleen. Exactly the same movements are performed with the right arm, but using the area of the liver and gallbladder as the striking point. 11. Hitting energy in front of the face with an upward thrust of the fist. The trunk turns slightly to the left in order to allow the left arm to full backward rotations, going first to the front, above the head, then to the back, where the palm turns slightly inward, as if to scoop something from the back. The movement ends at the second turn with an upward thrust of the fisted hand in front of the face. This magical pass is repeated with the right arm in exactly the same sequence. 12. Hammering energy in front of the left and right bodies. 1.5 forward circles are made with the arm, followed by a downward strike. The body rotates slightly in order to allow the left arm a full rotation, starting from its initial position by the side of the thigh, to the back, above the head, to the front, and again to the side of the thigh. As this circle is made, The palm is made to rotate at the wrist as if the hand were scooping up some viscous matter. From its initial position, the arms move again to the back and above the head, where the hand turns into a fist that strikes down with great force at a point in front of and above the pancreas and spleen, using the soft edge of the hand like a hammer as the striking surface. The same movements are repeated with the right arm. 13. Drawing 2 outward circles of energy and smashing them by the navel. Both arms move in unison up the front of the body, out to the sides, and around, like a swimming stroke, to draw 2 wing-like circles at a 45-degree angles to the front of the body. Then the circles are broken at the bottom, at the level of the navel, with a forceful strike of both hands. The hands are bent at a 90-degree angle in relation to the forearms, with the fingers pointing forward. The force of the strike makes the palms of the hands come within a few inches of each other. 14. Drawing 2 circles of energy laterally with the index and middle fingers extended. The index and middle fingers of both hands are fully extended, while the third and fourth fingers are held by the thumbs against the palms. The arms circle in unison from their normal position at the sides to above the head, and then laterally to the sides of the body at 45-degree angles toward the back. When the full circle is nearly completed, the fingers contract into fists, leaving the second knuckles of the middle fingers protruding. The movement ends as the fists, with the palms facing the body, strike forward and upward to the level of the chin. 15. Stirring the energy around the temples. A long inhalation is taken. An exhalation begins as the arms are brought to a point above the head, where they clasp into fists. The palms of the fisted hands face the front of the body. From there, they strike downward with a back fist blow to a point right above the hips. The fisted hands move to the sides of the body, drawing lateral half circles that bring the fists to an area a few inches in front of the forehead and 5 or 6 inches away from each other. The fisted palms face outward. While the exhalation still lasts, the fists are brought to rest on the temples for an instant. The body leans backward a bit by bending slightly at the knees to gain spring and momentum. And then the arms are brought forcefully down without straightening the elbows to strike behind the body on either side with the backs of the fisted hands. The exhalation ends there. 16. Projecting a small circle of energy out in front of the body. From its natural position by the side of the thigh, the left arm moves outward laterally. The palm of the hand faces the right. It draws a small circle as the palm turns downward, comes to the area of the pancreas and spleen, and continues moving left to the level of the waist. The elbow protrudes acutely the hand turns into a fist. The palm of the fisted hand faces the ground. The fist strikes with a short blow to the front, as if to pierce the circle it has drawn. The movement is continuous. It is not interrupted when the hand turns into a fist, but stops only when the punch has been delivered. The blow gives an intense jolt to the center of vitality located around the pancreas and spleen. The same movement is executed with the right hand, the strike of which jolts the liver and gallbladder. The second group, mixing energy from the left body and the right body. The second group consists of 14 magical passes that mix the energy of both bodies at their respective centers of vitality. The shamans of ancient Mexico believed that mixing energy in this fashion makes it possible to separate the energy of both bodies more readily by dropping unfamiliar energy into them, a process which they described as exacerbating the centers of energy, of vitality. (17) Bunching necessary energy and dispersing unnecessary energy. This magical pass entails movements that could best be described as pushing something solid across the front of the body with the palm of the hand and dragging it back across the front of the body with the back of the hand. It starts with the left arm kept close to the body by the waist, with the forearm bent at a 90-degree angle. The forearm is brought closer to the body as the movement begins, and the hand is bent back at the wrist. The palm of the left hand faces right. The thumb is locked. Then, as if a great force were opposing it, it moves across the body to the extreme right, without the elbow losing its 90-degree angle. From there, again, as if a great force were opposing it, the hand is dragged as far left as it can reach, without losing the 90-degree angle of the elbow, with the palm still facing the right. During this entire sequence of movements, the muscles of the left body are contracted to the maximum, and the right arm is held immobile against the right leg. The same sequence of movements is repeated with the right arm and hand. 18. Piling energy onto the left and right bodies. The weight is placed on the right leg. The knee is slightly bent for support and balance. The left leg and arm, which are kept semi-tense, sweep in front of the body in an arc from left to right in unison. The left foot and the left hand end at a position just to the right of the body. The outer edge of the left foot touches the ground. The fingertips of the left hand point down as the sweep is made. Then, both the left leg and the left arm return to their original positions. The exact sequence is repeated by sweeping the right leg and arm to the left. 19. Gathering energy with one arm and striking it with the other. Don Juan said that with this magical pass, energy was stirred and collected with the movement of one arm and was struck with the movement of the opposite arm. He believed that striking with one hand, energy which had been gathered by the other allowed the entrance of energy into one body from sources belonging to the other body, something which was never done under normal conditions. The left arm moves up to the level of the eyes. The wrist is slightly bent backwards. In this position, going from left to right and back again, the hand draws the figure of an oval, about 1.5 feet wide and as long as the width of the body. Then the hand, with the palm facing down, moves across at eye level from left to right, as if cutting through with the tips of the fingers the figure which it has drawn. At the moment that the left hand reaches the level of the right shoulder, the right hand, which is held at waist level, with the cupped palm turned upward, shoots forward, striking with the heel of the hand, to hit the spot in the middle of the oval, drawn by the left hand, as the left hand is slowly brought down. As it strikes, the palm of the right hand is facing forward, and the fingers are slightly curved, permitting in this fashion the necessary contour of the palm to strike a round surface. The strike ends with the elbows slightly bent to avoid overstretching the tendons. The same movements are performed, beginning with the right arm. 20. Gathering energy with the arms and legs. The body pivots slightly to the right on the ball of the right foot. The left leg juts out at a 45-degree angle, with the knee bent to give a forward slant to the trunk. The body is made to rock 3 times, as if to gain momentum. Then the left arm scoops downward, as if to grab something at the level of the left knee. The body leans back, and with that impulse, the lower part of the leg, from the knee down, is brought close to the groin, almost touching it with the heel. The left hand swiftly brushes the vital area of the liver and gallbladder on the right. The same sequence of movements is repeated with the right leg and arm, which bring the gathered energy to the center of vitality, located around the pancreas and spleen on the left. 21. Moving energy from the left and the right shoulders. The left arm moves from its natural position, hanging by the left thigh to the right shoulder, where it grabs something, and the hand turns into a fist. This movement is propelled by a sharp twist of the waist to the right. The knees are slightly bent to allow this turning movement. The acutely bent elbow is not allowed to sag, but is kept at the level of the shoulders, propelled by a straightening of the waist. The fist is then moved away from the right shoulder in an upward arc, striking with the back of the hand, a point slightly above the head and in line with the left shoulder. The hand opens there as if to drop something that is held in the fist. The same sequence of movements is repeated with the right arm. 22. Gathering energy from one body and dispersing it on the other. Beginning from its natural position by the left thigh, the left arm draws an arc from left to right, crossing in front of the pubis until it reaches the extreme right. This movement is aided by a slight turn of the waist. From there, the arm continues moving in a circle above the head to the height and level of the left shoulder. It cuts across then to the level of the right shoulder. There, the hand turns into a fist, as if grabbing something, with the palm down. Next, the fist hits a point at the height of the head, an arm's length away from it. The blow is delivered with the soft edge of the hand, using the hand as if it were a hammer. The arm is fully extended, but slightly curved at the elbow. The same movements are repeated with the right arm. 23. Hammering energy from the left shoulder and the right shoulder on the midpoint in front of the face. The left arm is moved above the head. The elbow is bent at a 90-degree angle. The hand turns there into a fist, with the palm facing upward. Then it strikes from the left with the soft edge of the hand. The division line of the left and right body in front of the face. The body leans slightly to the left as this strike is made. The fisted hand keeps on moving until it almost touches the right shoulder. The palm turns there so that it faces downward. Then it makes a similar strike, this time from the right. The body leans to the right. The same sequence of movements is repeated with the right arm. A reservoir of neutral energy can be built by this magical pass, meaning energy which can be easily used by either the left or the right body. 24. A strike with the hand fisted at the second knuckle. Both arms are lifted to the level of the neck. The elbows held at 90-degree angles. The hands are held with the fingers bent at the second knuckle and held tightly over the palm. From this position, the left hand strikes. The strike is a powerful swing made to the right, across the line of the right shoulder, but without greatly moving the arm. The arm is driven by a powerful rightward twist of the waist. The right arm moves in the same fashion beyond the line of the left shoulder, driven by an instantaneous leftward twist of the waist. 25. Grabbing energy from the shoulders and smashing it on the centers of vitality. The left arm moves to the right shoulder, and the hand turns into a fist, as if grabbing something. The elbow is kept bent at a 90-degree angle. Then the fist is forcefully brought back to the left side of the waist. It stays there for an instant to gain impulse, and then the fist shoots across the body to the right. The fisted palm facing the body to strike through a point by the area of the liver and gallbladder. The same movement is repeated with the right arm, which strikes across the area of the pancreas and spleen. 26. Pushing energy to the sides with the elbows. Both arms are brought to the level of the shoulders. The elbows bent sharply and protruding straight out. The wrists are crossed, making a letter X. The left forearm on top of the right one. The hands clenched into fists, touch the pectoral muscles at the edges of the axilla. The left fist touches the edges of the right axilla, and the right fist the edges of the left axilla. The elbows are then forcefully brought out to the sides in line with the shoulders, as if to give an elbow blow to the sides. This movement is repeated with the right arm on top of the left. 27. Drawing 2 inward circles of energy in front of the body and crushing them out to the sides. As a deep breath is taken, the arms circle in unison from their natural position at the sides of the thighs to the line that separates the left and the right bodies. This movement ends with the forearms crossed over the chest. The fingers are kept tightly together, pointing upward. The thumbs locked. The wrists are bent at 90-degree angles. The left arm is on top of the right one. The locked thumb of the left hand touches the pectoral muscle of the right body, and the locked thumb of the right hand touches the pectoral muscle of the left body. The inhalation ends there. A quick exhalation is made as the arms are spread apart forcefully, with the hands clenched into fists, each striking with the back of the hand a point on the respective sides above the head. The same movements are repeated with the right arm on top of the left. 28. Striking energy in front of the body and on the left and right with both fists. The hands are clenched into fists at the level of the waist. The palms of the fists face each other. Both hands are lifted to the level of the eyes and strike forcefully downward in unison at 2 points in front of the groin. They hit the target with the soft part of the fists. From there, the arms swing in unison, making an upward arc to the left as the whole trunk leans toward the left, following the impulse of the arms. The fists strike with the knuckles. The fists return to deliver another blow to the same points in front of the groin. From there, the arms swing in unison, making an upward arc to the right as the whole trunk leans toward the right, following the impulse of the arms. The fists strike with the knuckles. The fists move one more time to deliver a blow with the soft edge of the hands to the same 2 points in front of the groin. 29. Striking energy in front of the body with both fists and on the left and the right. The beginning of this magical pass is exactly like the preceding one. Once the strike is completed, both arms are lifted like hammers to the level of the head, and the trunk is made to turn sharply to the left. The 2 fists strike 2 points in front of the left hip. The arms lift again to the height of the head. The palms of the hands are opened, and they descend to strike the same 2 points. The arms are raised again to the level of the head. The hands turn into fists to strike the same points once again. The forearms are raised to the level of the head. The body turns to face the front, and the fists are slammed down on the same points in front of the groin. The same sequence of movements is repeated with the trunk turned sharply to the right. 30. Smashing energy with the wrists above the head and on the left and right. Both hands are raised above the head, with the wrists touching and the palms curved, as if holding a ball. Then the trunk turns to the left, as both arms move sharply to the left of the waist, without disengaging the wrists, which rotate on each other to accommodate the new position of the hands. The palm of the left hand faces upward, and the palm of the right hand faces downward. Both arms are moved to the point above the head again, still without disengaging the wrists, which rotate to adopt their initial position. The same sequence of movements is performed by bringing the hands sharply to a point to the right of the waist. The movement ends by bringing the hands back to their starting position above the head.